Hello, fellow lovers of the liminal and the weird, and welcome to another video by Liminal Spaces. Today I am going to be doing a quick channel update. I don't really have much news, but I do have a piece of local news. And I know we have a few local watchers, not many, but the Albuquerque Antiquarian Book Fair is coming up. This, for me, has been my favorite part of the year. It always happens around my birthday every year. It's been my favorite part of the year. I can go, and it's pricier. These are dealers that are selling to collectors, not donated books or anything like that. It's pricier, but I always find such unique books when I go there. Last year, all the science fiction was gone, which was really a letdown for me. Most of the science fiction dealers that we get to the Antiquarian Book Fair come from Denver, and there was a huge snowstorm last year the day before in Denver. So I'm hoping that that's the reason it was a little lacking last year, and that this year it'll be kicking again. I am going to go film there. Hopefully it won't be a letdown. Hopefully this year it will go back to kind of its former glory, which it's been wonderful in years of the past. If you are local and you would like to come, or if you are in Texas or Arizona or Colorado and would like to drive down and come see this antiquarian book fair, you can go to www.abqbookfair.com and find out all about it. Or you can just look up the 2025 Albuquerque Antiquarian Book Fair, and that should bring it up. So I will be going to that this coming Friday, which is March 14th. I'll be there right when it opens at 3 p.m. If you want to see me, I'll be walking around looking at books. So come say hi. Yeah, hopefully it'll be a good one this year. Okay, what is coming up on the channel? There's lots of stuff coming up on the channel. I am reading To Your Scattered Bodies Go by Philip Jose Farmer. I'm reading this with Deb from Omnivorous Reader. And it's been fun so far. We've been talking about the first scene, which is wild. Anybody that's read this knows this starts in a crazy, crazy place. And we've also been chatting about the fact that he chose actual historical figures to be the main characters in this book. Really interesting stuff. Really quick read. This is not like Riders of the Purple Wage, which I was not a huge fan of. This feels like almost a completely different writer. The prose is so easy to read. It's kept my attention solidly. I'm about 95 pages in, and it's been fun. So I'm enjoying talking to Deb about this. Deb is incredibly well read, especially in science fiction and fantasy, so I'm looking forward to seeing what she has to say about this one. Also, I think she's read it before, so this is her second time reading it, so that's going to be fun. So I went to estate sales yesterday, and I finally got one of these antique book holders. I love these things, and I've never seen them cheap enough for me to be able to get one, but I was able to get this one. You can see it's got this mechanic. The spine lays here. It's for a really thick book, and then probably a Bible, and then it opens on either side. But the mechanism, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, it's like some steampunk stuff back there. It's got these springs, and it closes up when you're not using it. Really, 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 really cool. I was super happy to find that. Don't really have a lot of room for this kind of stuff, but I love it. So I got it. What can you do? So that's the new book holder. I'm probably going to always have this over here when I'm doing these videos, so I can put stuff up there. Okay. I'm going to continue to read some Robert E. Howard, but I'm not going to do another Conan story just yet. I'm going to jump to some of his horror stuff, because I've heard his horror stuff is great, and I love weird tales in the horror genre. So I'm going to read, I guess, unless you guys tell me otherwise, I'm going to read Pigeons from Hell, which a lot of people say is a fantastic stories. So I guess that's where I'm going to start, is with that story. So you can expect that coming up. If you haven't read Pigeons from Hell, go ahead and read it now, so that when I talk about it, you'll have read it. Or if you have read it but haven't read it in a while, give it a reread. I'm also continuing my reading of Blackwater. I'm done with 2. I'm actually almost done with 3. So I read most of these books like regular reading, but I also like to listen to audiobooks in the car. So I always have an audiobook going while I'm reading all these other books for the channel. For instance, I did all the Jeff Vandermeer stuff on Audible, and I'm doing these on Audible, and the narrator is great. It's only 1 credit for all 6 novels, and getting these, like, it's so expensive. I like this. I was very lucky. This is a really good first edition of the first novel in Blackwater. This is a much crappier, well-read copy, and I paid I think I had to pay like $15 for this, and I just can't do it. And eventually I hope to have all these, but it's just not worth it to go out and spend that much money book by book on what's basically one big book. And I know I can go out and get a $40 copy, which is eventually what I'll probably end up doing. But I really wish I could get all 6 of these, but man, they're expensive. Thanks, Paperbacks from Hell. I say that, and I love Paperbacks from Hell. That book kicked ass. Okay, so if you want to see my video on the first book, it's on the channel. You can just go back and search for Blackwater and Michael McDowell, and you will find my take on the first one. Somebody recently said to me, and I don't know if it was Virgil at Literally Books or Brian from Bad Taste Books, but one of them said that they heard somebody call it Downton Abbey meets cosmic horror. Or weird tales. And I think that's a really good take. This is a Southern Gothic novel, and it spans generations of a family. So if that concept isn't interesting to you, you probably won't like this, because it is more Southern Gothic family drama than it is horror, but the horror is intense when it comes. It's really wild, very much worth it. Anyway, I am going to be discussing each separate novel, which really truly, this is like Book of the New Sun. They're all just one book. He just broke it up. But I'm going to be discussing each novel on the Patreon. So if you haven't joined yet and you'd like to support the channel, go check out the Patreon. I'll be probably doing one of these a week for the next 5 weeks. And then when I'm done, Brian from Bad Taste Books and Virgil from Literally Books are both reading it as well. So I think we're going to have a get together and chat about the entirety of the book. So you can look forward to that. So that's coming up. Yeah, I'm doing that read with Deb. I'm thinking, and we'll see if this is still the case, in April, I'm going to be reading Babel 17 with Ira from SF Words of Wonder. And then in May, I'm going to be doing Indoctrinaire, I think it's called, by Christopher Priest, with Richard Rempel from Vintage SF. And then in June, I think Virgil from Literally Books and I are going to be doing Mythago Wood by Robert Holdstock. So, yeah, if you want to read any of those, we will be talking about them in the future. Plus, I'm going to be constantly reading my own stuff and doing my own videos in between all those as well. For instance, I'm going to be doing Tom Robbins' Jitterbug Perfume, one of my favorite novels. I'm going to be doing that hopefully next week or the week after. So you can look forward to that as well. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. I'm trying to not be overwhelmed with my busyness. You've seen that the amount of videos I've been making has dropped. I've been trying to do 4 videos a week, and that's just not going to, plus 1 Patreon, that's just not going to work. So there'll be a bit fewer videos, but there will still be a steady pace of creation. So, all right, we will see you on the next one.